Hello, everyone, and welcome back to DBR on CBR. That's right. It is time once again for your favorite time of the week. It is Dragon Ball Rewatch, and we hope you are watching along on Hulu and Crunchyroll. And if you are reading along with us for all of my overachievers, we hope you're reading along in the Viz Media translation of the manga. Once again, we are your hosts. My name is Alyx.
I'm Sam.
And I'm John. Episode 35, Cold Reception. Japan, October 22nd, 1986, and Americans got it in the very wintry month of February 19th, 2002. We're so back. We're doing one episode, adapting one chapter. The Storming of Muscle Tower, which is a much better name. But I guess the storming doesn't actually happen until the end. So, yeah, we're basically on the new level. Goku has arrived in the snow.
Goku and his unspoken riz with these other little girls.
They set him up. They set him up for a couple. And Suno is the current love interest or a female foil.
Suno goes a little bit misery a little too quickly for my tastes. I love her. Can we keep him? He's a person, not an animal, dear. This has clearly come up before in this family, and it makes you worry.
Yeah.
In terms of, I love the, seeing Goku in the cold, which he's, as a sheltered boy of Mount Tao, he's never experienced before. Seeing him in this kind of like cold, frigid environment, realizing he needs winter clothes, that he can't just like shoulder his way through like an icy a winter wonderland. It's a good change of environment, and I don't think it overstays its welcome by the end of the General White saga or whatever Muscle Tower saga. Yeah.
You mean General White?
Yeah. What is that? What is that act?
That's like every Soviet bloc country put into a blender.
Yeah.
Because it's not quite Russian, but it is not anything else.
This may be too inside baseball, but it's like every Russian foreign heel from 80s wrestling put together when they're all actually from Minnesota. It's like, act like a Russian to get the crowd. It's that kind of, I am James Bond for them. I like vodka, yeah?
Yeah.
It's very, I must break you.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
he kind of does go to that, yeah.
It's everyone's go-to. I mean, it's not like someone like in the Funimation booth was probably like, oh, we're looking for South Ossetian. Could you give me a kind of like a Moldovan kind of like edge on that one? No, I don't. I think it's just he's the Drago. He's the Drago.
For half a second, I was half expecting him to come out and like in black and white be like, Umenya Zavut, it's Colonel White. Like I was expecting it to go like really, I'll catch you, moose and squirrel for a second.
Yeah, he does have a bit of the Rocky and Bullwinkles about him.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, let's be honest, spoilers for the upcoming episode, but building a massive tower full of various ecosystems is very Rocky and Bullwinkle as kind of it's a very fearless leader plan.
Yeah.
This is like maybe the most video gamey storyline or sequence of events within Dragon Ball. The idea that you have to take on a boss on every single level and you get to it's Game of Death with Bruce Lee without Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That's what we're doing here.
Yeah.
Muscle Tower basically becomes a second tournament arc, just rather than it being like an official tournament, it is Goku climbing the rank of this tower to punch various people.
Yeah.
I'm like kind of convinced, like, just getting ahead of ourselves. I'm kind of convinced that the tower tournament in Hunter x Hunter is kind of like gets a lot of inspiration from Muscle Tower. Like I feel like it does.
It's got to. I think the structure's nearly identical.
Like I have a feeling in my guts. But before we get to Muscle Tower, there's still more time for Goku to spend expositing on the Dragon Balls and declaring a war just because.
Oh, I love like Goku as like pure neutral good. He's like, what's out there? Bad guys. What do we do? Fight. I just love this. Just Goku as those, I guess like the drunken boxer old films reminds me a bit of that. Where it's like, if I see a bad person, I'm going to go over to them and punch them. Doesn't matter what they're doing. They exist. I exist to punch.
Like, I love that. The energy is so good when they're like, "Oh, they took our village elder," and Goku is like, "Bet I'm gonna go run the ones. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be amazing." And Goku is so gung ho about it too. He's just
I
ready to beat up some dudes.
I really like how they use that to tell a bit of a darker story here with how the family approach Red Ribbon.
Hmm.
Um, they do a really good job of sort of contrasting how they're acting to how Goku's acting to both show that Goku is far too hot-headed, but also kind of make it clear that this is not a good situation without outright having to show it.
Yes, yeah, this is our reminder that the Red Ribbon Army is indeed like a threat. They're not just the Keystone Cops that Goku's been stunting on for like 5 episodes now. Like it's like, oh no, people are actually like oppressed by these guys. Like Snow's father is in captivity, hopefully, hopefully not worse in Muscle Tower or somewhere in the, or the village chieftain, all of these figures that have been like affected by this entire community that's been affected by the Red Ribbon Army.
They still are a bit unsure about how competent Red Ribbon are, which is interesting because like they act like this village is new to them, like they haven't mapped this area. They're weirdly, despite being massive, taking on like random civilians to labor. It's a very odd way. I get why they've done the civilian thing, it's to give Goku a hook, but it's also very weird. Like, why is this gigantic army apparently thinly stretched and doesn't know? Like the two guys he suddenly drive off a cliff. It's like, do you have an air force? Why are you not? Like, surely you've mapped this by now, lads.
Yeah. Yeah, it's never quite, I mean, do they just retrofit an existing tower to make it Muscle Tower? We don't know how long they've been in snow, Frap Snowland. We don't know that.
Listen, everybody knows that you don't fight land wars in Russia because of General Winter. Like everybody knows what they didn't bring the right uniforms. A lot is going on here.
Yeah, they somehow brought a Caterpillar treaded tank that can drift, which is just what you need on ice.
Yeah.
Look,
I
Napoleon learned his lesson, okay? Like, just saying.
Did
have you
Alexander the
noticed?
Great learn his lesson? That's the question.
Yes, yes, yeah. Borodino all over again. But have we noticed that in terms of pairs of baddies that Goku dispatches, it's the second time there's been a canine type henchman?
Goku hates dogs.
Fair enough.
Goku beats a lot of dogs. Those
Goku hates
Dobermans,
dogs.
those Dobermans Pilaf sent after him, I gave him a taste.
Goku is the Dio of Dragon Ball.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really
It is fun how we're also getting, if you keep looking, you keep seeing the Krillin's bullies are in these again as well. They just keep reusing those two like models as a pair.
Just keep dressing them in different things. And again, everybody who's on Justin Cook watch Justin Cook again, just getting wrecked.
That's one of my favorite moments in Dragon Ball is when he beats up the two bad guys that shot up the bathroom, and one of them is so, I'm just gonna say dead, that because his eyes are wide open.
Yeah, he like rigor mortis is the trigger.
Yeah, that he just fires upward.
Goku killed those guys. A lot of people are going to die in this arc.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that doesn't happen in the manga. I mean, in the manga, they do have the delayed reaction before they fall over. But yeah, there's no panel of like dead dog man like shooting upwards to the heavens with his final moments.
can we also bring up
Deviated.
that we're back to quite harrowing gun violence again after a couple of
Yeah.
episodes of where like Red Ribbon are just firing artillery like it's going out of style and we all run through it. We're going back to like small arms fire being quite scary.
Yes, they set up these two guys kind of like how they set up Colonel Silver and his henchmen, 5 or 6 episodes ago, with them attacking like an innocent old couple in their search, cannon fodder for the Red Ribbon Army to remind you, yo, these guys are like nasty and theoretically effective at what they do.
Theoretically.
Silver was an
On
outlier.
paper.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's the one chilling moment of this episode.
I see you there. I see
Yeah,
you.
I'm just going bananas on this one, guys.
And look, we're all just gonna monkey around with Goku for a bit.
Yeah.
Sure.
This episode has a lot of good, despite what's going on. This episode has a lot of good comedy moments, which I find quite fun. Yeah, they do a lot of fun stuff with him and Suno and they're back and forth. I love the when Goku is explaining the Dragon Balls, and they have the bit where he's like, "How did you see that if you were in prison?"
You're like, I heard it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think back, it's like episode 13 and what exactly Goku saw when, because they had fired the hole in the wall, the hole
Yeah.
big enough for them to fly out of.
So I went back and checked, and very little because Bulma and Yamcha were filling the hole the entire time. And then
So
what
he did
happens
use
then? Oolong pops out by shrinking, then runs up and does his big hero speech and gets
I'm
his
a coward.
panties.
I don't want to do this.
Yeah, and Oolong gets the hero of the universe, the one we all needed.
Yes.
And arguably the guy who doomed the universe for the Black Star Dragon Balls, but we're not going there yet.
Everyone's allowed a mistake.
Black Star Dragon Balls.
and Oolong, to me, is allowed many mistakes. I do love how they bring up how silly the wish is for who wants underwear. Which I love how the mom suddenly puts two and two together with the maybe they do want to rule the world. It's like, yeah, I mean, that's most invading armies. Like,
I mean, Commander Red, as we'll learn, might not, domination isn't his game here, at least not military domination.
I also really enjoy with Goku and Suno when they're like, oh, you can just give them the ball. It's not even the one you want. And Goku's like, okay, time for me to go full Batman. Like Goku goes full Batman just in that moment. He's so excited. I love how excited Goku is. And I have a headcanon for this, and I'm going to hold on to it. He met Colonel Silver, thought that dude sucked so much that he now needs to take that aggression out on everyone else. Goku is now making it everyone's problem.
He failed to train hard enough. Now Goku's just going to punish them all. This is what you get for being weak.
That's what you get.
I wonder how much Zenkai boost he gets from his encounters of the Red Ribbon Army. Certainly at least 2.
Yeah.
Boost, for those of you listeners of you who don't know, is the boost a Saiyan gets when they recover from a pretty gnarly beating.
Anytime a Saiyan is almost killed, they get a major power boost, which is arguably the best power in the god dang anime.
Yeah, it's like verging on Borg like adaptation kind of thing. Like,
think about how powerful Krillin and Yamcha would be.
Oh yeah, I mean,
think about it.
They had that Zenkai power.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of got canonized in Super with Ultra Ego, effectively. That's Ultra Ego is the ultimate version of that, where it's like, yeah, the more you kick me, the stronger I get. But somehow still not strong enough, because I'm Vegeta and the universe doesn't like me.
Because I'm Vegeta, and this is my cross to bear.
Yeah. Can I point out again, so I noticed, Suno's toilet is labeled toilet again. So either this is a Toriyama joke that I'm simply not getting, or that was just the fashion in Japan in the 80s.
I mean, I feel like I've been to Japanese bathrooms that say toilet.
Yeah.
But not in someone's house is what I'm implying.
Fair enough. Fair point.
I didn't break into enough houses to check.
Yeah. I don't recall ever seeing any Japanese restaurants in Japan called Delicious, but next time I'll keep an eye out.
We'll go looking for it.
I think I saw one in Osaka. I'm not gonna lie. I think I saw one that was just delicious.
I think my favorite Toriyama sign is the gateway to the check-in station. King Yama's check-in station is welcome, but it's 2L welcome.
2 L's. Welcome. Well, it's a very passive-aggressive sign. Well, come on.
Yeah, you're dead. Come on.
You're dead. Let's move the line.
Don't make a scene. It's not worth it. Come on.
What do you think of the actual storming of Muscle Tower?
Hilarious. I love Goku deciding to pole vault his way up.
I also love Colonel White, like looking at him being like, yes, come into Muscle Tower, little boy. We see how well you do. Like,
I also like his comment earlier. He's like, I should get rid of all my troops and just hire this guy. So far, this is the cleverest member of the Red Ribbon Army. That's a great idea.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, especially if we don't know what Silver said. So like, as far as we know, he has no problem with us. He's just annoyed by Silver. So yeah, it's worth a shot.
I didn't like the guy either. You joined my team.
He kept taking up the boxing gunning all day.
Also, we find out, I mean, it shouldn't come as a huge surprise how bulletproof the power pole is.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
him deflecting that's such a good moment. It's
So cool.
It's a moment that's so cool that it's recreated in CG for the beginning of Super when they explain the, Goku's history of the Red Ribbon Army. And I love that. I love that in the extended sequence, that extended, intro sequence. I would love to. I have Dragon Ball here on a shelf, on digital HD and on DVD. I would love to see a remaster of Dragon Ball. Maybe something like Kai, used closer to the source material.
We don't have to watch that Nam episode again.
a special edition that's only that Nam episode on loop.
Every episode on loop. That is our own personal hell on this podcast.
All Nam all the time.
The
Nam is
Nam
what
again.
happened.
Like a good radio station.
Yeah.
What I love about the pole vault is that it's a perfect encapsulation of of Goku still being childish, but it also showing why he's so hard to fight.
Yeah.
Like he takes childish logic to the extreme, to the point that of course no one else would think to bring a pole vault and jump over our wall. Only a child would do that, but here is the child doing it who happens to be bulletproof.
You get a little bit of that earlier too in this episode, where when Goku's fighting those two guys and he dives under the snow to solid snake them.
Yes. Yeah. All of a sudden he goes under the ground, and you're just like, what? It's like a slasher movie sequence. Like, what? Just pull under the snow. Snow turns red.
Yeah, he's a little Terminator when he wants to be. It's quite like you could totally do a very good horror thing from one of these guys' perspective of just this kid is running at us and will not stop running at us.
I think seeing this episode, one of the more genius things is Toriyama taking the Nimbus cloud away to not only force, it makes sense you look at it at surface and it's just a way to inconvenience Goku and heighten the antagonistic factor for Colonel Silver. But you look at it now, one episode or several chapters later, and it's like, oh, you did it to force Goku to Muscle Tower and take away the means to easily get to the top of Muscle Tower. It's like, oh, well done.
Kudos.
Yeah,
it worked. It's also very natural as well, which helps. It doesn't feel like a contrivance we have written. It does feel like there is some weight to it as well, which is nice.
Yeah, it's the loss of his cloud buddy.
Like Goku's major driving impetus in this arc. There are three major driving factors for Goku. One, Nimbus has been lost. Two, he wants his grandpa's Dragon Ball. And number three, he has decided to be the savior of this small village in the middle of nowhere. Like, these are his three motivating factors. And I kind of genuinely love it. Because the first two are very Goku. And then you get the building of Goku's altruistic nature. It's starting to turn into like, oh, I'm not just a good guy. I'm trying to save everybody I come across. Like, we're starting to get the seeds of Goku saving people, saving everyone.
Yeah, and it builds on what Roshi was saying during the Turtle Hermit training of like, these are people being oppressed with force, so your job is to go and stop that happening. I do love how naturally it's like we haven't had like Goku didn't do the training and then become Superman. He started, he sort of took out the American way. He started his arc very selfishly. It was a personal quest that has happened to push him into this situation where it is still inherently a selfish thing for him. The Dragon Ball is still the quest, but it is pushing him slowly towards being like, oh, I have to save the world. And it happens like kind of nice and slowly. So it feels like a natural evolution of the character. And again, we talk about Goku feeling like a child. It does feel like how a child would slowly build morality. Because, he is still a little impulsive self, but he's slowly getting this idea of what a what it means to exist in a community and that other people have feelings. And
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a if you think about it, just factoring in the manga, like taking out the filler episodes we sat through, the only reason to reinforce John's point is that we're here narratively is just because Colonel Silver looked up, saw Goku on a Nimbus cloud, and was like, F them kids. Like blew them out of the sky. And that's where it all started.
Yeah,
Basically, yeah. The androids in Cell are basically Colonel Silver's fault. That's what I'm saying, guys.
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Colonel Silver caused the deaths of so many the future deaths of so many people just by thinking, I'm going to shoot that kid.
Yeah.
If only he'd put a shirt on, the world could have been so much different.
Yeah, yeah.
He'd been much more chill and adapted.
Yeah,
Maybe it was just the shirts we made along the way.
he just lost his calling. He should have been a Gundam character. He should have not.
He really should have. Can I point out I love Suno's house. Like all the interiors we see, it's interesting that Toriyama definitely has a taste for a certain kind of interior design, which is this sort of very early 80s minimalism, sort of tech minimalism. It probably has a very specific name for when it was in Japan. I don't know it. But each house interior we've seen so far is quite different from like how like this Suno's house has different bits of furniture. What I also like about Suno's house is the fact they have a rocking chair.
Yeah.
Which I'm not sure if it was deliberate, but I think it was a really nice piece of foreshadowing, considering it's a very big chair and you see other chairs around the house. So there's clearly meant to be another member of this family here. But the fact sort of, it's very much like Tiny Tim in A Christmas Carol. Like there is an empty chair near the fire, slowly hinting to you that something isn't all right here. This house is clearly not the house of two people. It's a very nice bit of environmental storytelling that makes their setup of like, oh yeah, he's trapped, a lot more impactful.
Yeah, like the Searchers, the empty rocking chair in the Searchers. You know,
yeah.
Film student-y. The whole thing.
Go deep into it. Like, yeah, I think one of the things I've always really liked about Dragon Ball and a lot of the stuff that Toriyama does is he does try, even though there is a very set style and there is a very like clear logic to the style, there's enough differentiation that you usually don't hit that Hanna-Barbera thing where everything looks the same. And I appreciate that. Like this area is has very clearly different needs than like Master Roshi's house, which is like another interior that we get a lot of. So
yeah, like Roshi's house is clearly older because he's older, and yeah, and it's kind of cool because you think they're with the capsule. So these are all capsule houses. That feels like it would, from a lot of series, be an excuse of great, we don't have to do any more interiors ever.
Yeah.
But here they've made it look like, yeah, capsule houses are the dominant houses for a reason, but still different people will do different things with their house. They'll have different needs, and there are maybe different capsule houses for different environments. It makes the world feel so much more alive when it could have been used as an excuse to just do as little as possible.
Yeah, for a coming off a couple budget-friendly episodes, it's nice. It's nice to see these new environments and, you know, costume changes, all that kind of stuff. It's we're moving.
I love
Goku.
I love Goku's new costume. It's so cute.
Goku.
Also, talking of reuse, I love the joke of Goku running out the house, and then you sort of see Suna going, I wonder if he'll ever come back, and then he reappears immediately because it's too cold. That is such a good joke that is perfectly set up by using what they've done before. It's like such a like painting the fourth wall joke, playing off what we've done a few times before. Like, oh, it's going to be the Chi-Chi gag again. Nope. Pulling the rug out, it's a different joke. It's so cleverly. It's such a lovely bit of writing.
Speaking of lovely bits of writing, Goku asking what snow is. I love that little moment where he's like, what is this soft white crumbly stuff? Like he's so genuinely curious, and also like you said earlier, Sam, it reinforces how sheltered and isolated he's been. He doesn't even know about other weather patterns.
We're always kind of led to believe that like Mount Tao and all of that is not deciduous, but like perpetually deciduous. Like they don't get all 4 seasons around there. It's almost like pseudo tropical, but I guess it's kind of tropical because there's like monkeys.
Yeah.
There's also
Yeah.
dinosaurs though, which kind of throw it a little bit.
Also true. Also true.
But yeah,
Oh,
it
yeah.
feels like sort of in Dragon Ball, we work on that sort of video game level thing where each region has its very specific weathers it can have. And then there's like a line, like when you get to here, suddenly we have snow everywhere all the time.
Yeah.
Goku's in sort of this forest tropical area.
Yeah, like a Zelda game or a Pokemon game where it's like, oh, this is the Johto region. We only have this. Oh. These are types of Pokemon you won't see anywhere else. Oh, okay. Yeah. But I mean, we're after coming off extended stretch of filler, it's good to be back on track and like already at Muscle Tower, man.
We're already at Muscle Tower.
Compare this to last episode, it's probably my final thought, but compare this to last episode where we had that really fuzzy start where Goku didn't come in until like nearly a quarter of the episode was done. One way you can tell when Toriyama is doing the writing is that things move at a breakneck pace. Yeah. Like, we got more done in this episode than we got probably in the last 3. Yeah. But just how we established a whole new world, we established a new group of characters, we established a new villain, and 2 big locations without pausing for breath. Amazing. Yeah. And much welcomed.
Yes. 100%. Alex, you got any final thoughts about our friend Goku in the snow world?
My final thought is that Colonel White needs to capture little monkey boy. No, I think that this is a really great. This is also going to give me a lot of fuel for a lot of jokes for a while. But I really enjoy this episode. I love that we're back at a breakneck pace. I feel like something's finally happening again, which for a while it was kind of hit or miss on that. But yeah, it's been interesting. I'm really excited to get to Muscle Tower because I actually really like Muscle Tower a lot, even though it's going to get dicey in places. But I really do like Muscle Tower. So
I like the concept of my Muscle Tower.
I like it when they did it in Hunter x Hunter. Does that make sense? Like when it happened in Hunter x Hunter, I really like it. But you have anything else for us, Sam?
No, I mean we're off to the races. We're dismantling the Red Ribbon Army one oddly voiced officer at a time. So let's keep it going and yeah, get to the end of this. Let's topple this thing.
Let's topple this tower, and we will be toppling this tower eventually as we work our way through DBR on CBR. That's right, it has been Dragon Ball Rewatch. We are sad to watch you go, and we are going to love it when you come back and you continue watching along with us on Hulu and Crunchyroll, and you continue to read along with us in the Viz Media translation of the manga. So once again, we have been your hosts. My name is Alex.
I'm Sam.
And I'm John.
And we'll see you next time on Dragon Ball. Bye-bye.
Moose and Skittle.